Hey everybody, my name's Tim, welcome to QUICKPLAY. Now with Half-Life Alyx being the talk of the town, I figured here at CF Gaming we could continue kind of riding the hype train a little bit with the Half-Life content. Specifically though, I wanted to talk about Half-Life 2 today, because when Half-Life Alyx was announced, I wanted to go back and play this game. I wanted to replay the whole thing. I think I only really played it once through. But I thought, good time as any to replay the game and just re-experience it. And I'm happy I did, because this specific piece of the game, Highway 17, I remember it really sticking out to me the first time around, and it did the same here. Now, I may not be correct on this, but if I am correct, I believe that I've heard that Highway 17 is like one of the least liked sections of Half-Life 2. I don't really know why. Maybe people think it's boring or weirdly paced or something. I don't know. But I love Highway 17. I think Highway 17 may even be like my favorite part of Half-Life 2. Just because, well, there's a couple different reasons. The presentation of a post-apocalyptic world through Highway 17 is just perfect. The way that Valve, the art design, the sound design, just everything about the presentation of this section of the game really, really sells the fact that this is a post-apocalyptic world and you're alone. Now, obviously, Gordon Freeman isn't always alone. He's bouncing between little encampments of rebels, and he'll occasionally find some and help them, and they'll help him along the way. But for most of it, you're just on your own against an army of Combine in their little hideouts. And it's, I don't know, this just does it for me. I've always been interested in this type of post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. Back in high school, one of the books that we had to read was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And if I remember correctly, I believe I played Half-Life 2 a little bit before reading that book. But whether it was before or after, the two were very close together. And I don't know if any of you have ever read The Road, but if you haven't, definitely read it if you're a fan of Half-Life. Specifically Half-Life 2, just because it's a very visceral presentation of a desolate post-apocalyptic world where everybody's just out to survive and everybody's just trying their best and keeping to themselves, and it's very like, you know, every man for himself kind of thing. It's very, very interesting, dynamic situation. And I believe that Highway 17 out of Half-Life 2 is a very it's equal in comparison. I feel like they both kind of accomplish the same kind of presentation of this idea in different ways. I also that this whole idea affected me so much that I actually made a movie based on this concept in a sense. The EMP movie Trustfall that we made, that was very much based on both The Road and this section of Half-Life 2. Just the idea of these like pockets of civilization spread out in different little, I guess, like holes, little pockets of society spread out in the wilderness, if you would call it that, or, you know, in the world. And they're all just trying to, they fight each other if they encroach on each other's territory, but they, you know, they do their own thing, and they're just trying to survive against the brave, cold world. So, I've always just loved this whole concept of a post-apocalyptic world. I've just always found it very fascinating. Now, I wanted to continue talking about this set of levels specifically. Here is a good example right here, actually. So right now I'm coming up against these Combine. You can hear their guns, the way that they sound. It's all bass. Like the sound waves of them shooting the guns is literally just the bass. Like compare my submachine gun, which is up close, to their guns from far away. Like you only hear like the bass portion of the sound wave. It's a very simple, very subtle thing, but that sound design and the sound design that comes into play when it's just you firing off your gun and you just hear like the echoes reverberating off of like the cliff faces, and there's nothing else. Like no music, barely any ambient noise, anything like that. That sells it for me. Like the loneliness and the solitude is presented so well in this portion of the game. It like baffles me to this day how well this is done. And I just always thought that it was very fascinating that they nailed this so well. And I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. I thought it was very interesting, and hopefully you guys I don't know, enjoyed. So if anybody has any opinions, or if anybody agrees, disagrees, whatever with what I said here, please feel free to comment, and maybe we can talk about it again. Or not. It's up to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I know this is a bit of just a ramble, but I don't know, this is something that I've had on my mind for a while. I wanted to talk about because I just always thought it was so cool. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful time in your Half-Life endeavors, whatever they may be. And I will talk to you all another day.